Addressing this situation requires a multifaceted approach. Firstly, explain the risks and consequences clearly. Emphasize the electrical hazards posed by the existing wiring, including potential fires, shocks, and malfunctions. Provide specific examples of incidents that have occurred due to similar issues, referencing relevant case studies or news reports if possible. Explain the legal liabilities and insurance implications if an accident occurs due to faulty electrical wiring, making sure the board understands their potential exposure. Secondly, present a detailed proposal. Provide a detailed load calculation, showing precisely why the current wiring is inadequate for the existing and proposed loads. This calculation should include the amperage draw of each garage door opener, lighting fixture, and any other electrical equipment. Explain the National Electrical Code (NEC) requirements for electrical installations in garages and workshops, citing specific articles and sections of the code that are relevant to the situation. Outline the proposed solution, including a detailed description of the required upgrades, materials, and labor costs involved. Be transparent and provide options where possible, explaining the pros and cons of each. Thirdly, seek external expertise. Consider engaging an independent electrical engineer to provide an unbiased assessment and support your recommendations. Their expertise can provide credibility and reinforce the validity of your concerns. The engineer can also perform their own load calculations and provide a written report that the board can review. Fourthly, seek support from other parties. Reach out to other condominium owners or tenants who may be concerned about the electrical safety of the garages. Explain the risks and consequences to them and encourage them to voice their concerns to the board. They are the signatures or letters of support to demonstrate that there is a wider concern within the community. This collective voice can be more persuasive than an individual opinion. Fifthly, respect the board's decision. While it's frustrating, understand that the condo board has the ultimate authority. If they choose not to follow your recommendations, document your concerns and provide them with a copy for future reference. This documentation can protect you from liability if an accident occurs in the future. Dealing with the mentality that it's been working fine for 15 years requires patience and a strategic approach. Firstly, be patient and persistent. Explain the risks and consequences in a clear and non-confrontational manner. Avoid using technical jargon that the board members may not understand. Repeat the information multiple times and provide examples to drive the point home. Don't give up easily, even if the board is initially resistant. Their reluctance may stem from a lack of understanding or a concern about costs. Secondly, empathize with their concerns. Understand that the board may be concerned about the cost or inconvenience of upgrading the electrical system. Acknowledge their concerns and show that you are willing to work with them to find a solution that fits their budget and timeline. Explore options to minimize the impact, such as phasing the project over time or negotiating a payment plan. Thirdly, provide clarity and education. Help the board understand the technical details and NEC requirements. Use simple language and avoid technical jargon. Provide resources or articles that they can refer to for further information. Offer to answer their questions and address any concerns they may have. Point them to the NEC, specifically articles related to garages and electrical safety. Fourthly, seek common ground. Focus on finding a solution that addresses both the safety concerns and the board's financial constraints. Be willing to compromise and negotiate, but don't compromise on fundamental safety principles. Suggest alternative solutions that may be more cost-effective while still meeting safety standards. For example, consider upgrading the existing wiring in phases, starting with the most critical areas. Remember, it's important to approach the situation professionally and respectfully, even if it's challenging. By providing clear information, seeking support, and working collaboratively, you can help the board make an informed decision that prioritizes safety and compliance. Regarding the added lights on the outside of the building, it's crucial to factor this additional load into the load calculations. Consider the type of lighting fixtures, their wattage, and their operating hours when determining the required circuit capacity. Ensure that the wiring and overcurrent protection devices are appropriately sized for the additional load in accordance with NEC requirements. Furthermore, exterior lighting must be suitable for wet locations and installed according to NEC Article 410. Consider energy-efficient lighting options such as LED fixtures to minimize the overall energy consumption and reduce operating costs. Provide the Condo board with a comparison of different lighting options highlighting their energy efficiency, lifespan, and cost. Regarding the added shop, it's imperative to address the electrical deficiencies in this area. The refrigerator, fluorescent fixtures, and workbench with multiple outlets represent a significant load that cannot be safely supported by the existing wiring. Conduct a thorough load calculation for the shop, taking into account all the electrical equipment and appliances that will be used. Determine the required circuit capacity and install new circuits with appropriately sized wiring and overcurrent protection devices in accordance with NEC requirements. Ensure that all wiring and electrical equipment in the shop are installed according to NEC Article 511, which covers commercial garages and similar locations. Provide adequate grounding and bonding to minimize the risk of electrical shock. Install ground fault circuit interrupter (GFCI) protection for all receptacles serving the workbench area as required by the NEC. Consider installing dedicated circuits for high-demand equipment, such as the refrigerator and any power tools. This will help prevent overloading and ensure reliable operation. The fact that the installation has been operating for 15 years without incident does not justify continuing to operate it in a non-compliant and potentially hazardous condition. Electrical systems degrade over time due to wear and tear, corrosion, and other factors. The fact that there have been no reported incidents may simply be a matter of luck. It's crucial to address the electrical deficiencies proactively to prevent a potential accident or fire. Explain to the Condo board that electrical safety is an ongoing responsibility and that regular inspections and maintenance are necessary to ensure the safe and reliable operation of the electrical system. Recommend that they establish a schedule for periodic electrical inspections by a qualified electrician. These inspections can identify potential problems before they become serious and help ensure that the electrical system remains in compliance with the NEC. When performing the load calculations, refer to NEC Article 220 for guidance on determining the minimum required load for various types of occupancies and equipment. Consider the demand factors allowed by the NEC when calculating the total load. Demand factors are percentages that can be applied to certain loads to account for the fact that not all equipment will be operating at its maximum capacity simultaneously. However, it's important to use demand factors cautiously and to ensure that the resulting load calculation is sufficient to handle the actual load. Pay close attention to NEC Article 310.15, which covers ampacity of conductors. This article provides tables that specify the maximum allowable ampacity of conductors based on their size, insulation type, and installation condition. Ensure that the conductors you select are appropriately sized for the load they will be carrying and that they are protected by overcurrent protection devices of the correct size. When selecting overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, refer to NEC Article 240 for guidance. This article specifies the requirements for overcurrent protection and provides tables that specify the maximum allowable size of overcurrent protection devices for various types of conductors and equipment. Ensure that the overcurrent protection devices you select are sized to protect the conductors and equipment they are serving and that they are properly coordinated to prevent nuisance stripping. When installing new wiring, use only approved wiring methods that are suitable for the environment in which they will be installed. For example, in damp or wet locations, use wiring methods that are listed for use in those environments. Avoid using zip cord or other unapproved wiring methods, as these can be a fire hazard. Ensure that all wiring connections are made properly and that they are tightened to the correct torque. Loose connections can cause overheating and arcing, which can lead to fires. Use only approved connectors and fittings for making wiring connections. When installing receptacles, use only approved receptacles that are rated for the voltage and amperage of the circuit. Ensure that all receptacles are properly grounded and that they are installed in accordance with NEC requirements. Install ground fault circuit interrupter (GFCI) protection for all receptacles that are located in damp or wet locations, as required by the NEC. When installing lighting fixtures, use only approved lighting fixtures that are rated for the voltage and wattage of the circuit. Ensure that all lighting fixtures are properly grounded and that they are installed in accordance with NEC requirements. Use energy-efficient lighting options, such as LED fixtures, to minimize energy consumption and reduce operating costs. Provide adequate ventilation for lighting fixtures to prevent overheating. The existing situation with a single 120-volt 20-amp circuit feeding 18 garages is a clear violation of the NEC and a significant safety hazard. The NEC requires that each garage have its own dedicated circuit for general-purpose receptacles and lighting. This is to prevent overloading and to ensure that each garage has adequate power for its intended use. The addition of garage door openers, fluorescent lights, and power tools has significantly increased the electrical load in the garages, making the existing wiring even more inadequate. The use of Romex and zip cord for wiring extensions is also a violation of the NEC and a fire hazard. Romex is not permitted to be used in wet or damp locations, such as garages, unless it is specifically listed for that purpose. Zip cord is not permitted to be used for permanent wiring installations. It is only intended for temporary use, such as connecting lamps or appliances to receptacles. The Condo board's decision to add only one additional 20-amp circuit is woefully inadequate and does not address the underlying safety issues. It is a short-sighted solution that will likely lead to overloading and other problems in the future. It is important to educate the Condo board about the dangers of electrical overloading and the importance of complying with the NEC. Explain to them that electrical fires are a leading cause of property damage and injuries and that they can be prevented by following proper electrical safety practices. Provide them with information about the cost of electrical fires, including property damage, injuries, and legal liabilities. Emphasize that the cost of upgrading the electrical system is far less than the cost of dealing with the consequences of an electrical fire. Consider obtaining quotes from multiple electrical contractors to provide the Condo board with a range of options and prices. This will help them make an informed decision about which contractor to hire and how much to budget for the project. Be sure to check the contractor's credentials and references before hiring them. Ensure that they are licensed and insured and that they have a good reputation for quality work. Before starting any electrical work, obtain the necessary permits from the local building department. This will ensure that the work is inspected and that it complies with the NEC. Follow all applicable safety precautions when working on electrical systems. Always disconnect the power before working on any electrical equipment. Use insulated tools and wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working on electrical systems, hire a qualified electrician to do the work for you. Electrical work can be dangerous and should only be performed by trained professionals. In summary, addressing this situation requires a comprehensive approach that includes educating the Condo board about the risks and consequences of inadequate electrical wiring, providing a detailed proposal for upgrading the electrical system, seeking external expertise, gathering support from other Condo owners, and respecting the board's decision while documenting your concerns. By following these steps, you can help ensure that the Condo garages are safe and compliant with the NEC.